LPT Realty just made a major announcement and rolled out their big 3 initiatives for the year 2025. And guys, some of these things are absolutely industry changing and have never been done before. I'm excited to break down all the details about what was just rolled out. My business partner, Isaac Guzman, and I are going to jump on a call and go through everything that you need to know about the big 3 changes here at LPT Realty. Without further ado, let's jump in.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're about to get into some really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And our future here at LPT Realty is so bright.
Yeah, I'm like,
I had to put the shades on.
I'm like, what is happening? I'm looking over here. I turn back. All right, cool. All right, so we're ready to do this thing, huh?
We're ready to do this thing.
All right.
How was that for a transition?
Yeah,
is that fantastic?
Isaac, man, great to be with you. Hey, awesome intro. I'm ready to jump into this. That was one of the most exciting, I think, motivational Mondays that I saw, getting to see all this stuff rolled out. You know, and I want to start off with a quick clip that's not necessarily related to the big 3 things, but you know, when people hear about these 3 things that we're trying to roll out, they sound very ambitious. Like this is stuff that, I mean, this is stuff that 2-year-old brokerages simply don't do. And so I think a lot of people are going to question whether or not we even have it in us to do it. So I want to kick real quick to a clip of Robert discussing kind of where we've come so far as a brokerage in the last 2 years to give people an idea of what we've been able to accomplish just since we've been open. And that'll maybe, I think, paint a little bit better picture for what we're capable of doing in the future. So let's kick it over to Robert, and we'll hear about what LPT has done in the last 2 years, and then we'll set the stage for the big 3 things.
You know, we're transitioning into the 3 big things for 2025.
All right.
Here at LPT Realty and LPT Holdings. All right.
Fantastic.
So Dave, let's jump right into it. Hodge, I'm messing up the whole script here. Man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
I'm so excited. These 3 big things we've been working on. I mean, for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of these we started building before we even launched LPT. And some of this we kept under wraps. Some of it's kind of been floating around out there in the ether. But it's exciting that we're committing to these 3 big things for 2025.
That's right.
And big things. Big
yeah,
things
absolutely.
Coming.
So excited about this. So one thing I know that you've always talked about, we've seen it on multiple podcasts, we've seen it on videos. I think we've got one here we're going to show shortly, which is, you know, you asking people to dream bigger, to break that glass ceiling, to think about, hey, you really are capable of doing these things. You just have to believe that you can. Of course, you have to put in the work and the consistency, all of those things, but you constantly ask people to dream big. So I think we've got a video, Dave. I don't know if we've got it loaded. Okay, let's roll this video.
It is now my pleasure to introduce a very special guest speaker from the class of 1998, Mr. Robert Palmer. "19 years ago, I sat in these exact same chairs in this exact same building and graduated high school. 19 years ago, I would have never thought my name would be on this building. My initials, my company name would go up here, and then we'd be able to give back to the community and help do things and amazing things in this very building that seemed so big at that time. I never thought any of these things were possible. And I remember people telling me that I could accomplish anything I put my mind to. And I remember not believing them. My grades weren't all that great. You know, my family wasn't rich. I didn't have this track laid out for me to have my life. It took me a while to figure out that I actually could. And so all I'm standing here today is proof for you that no matter where you're sitting out there, what your grades are, what your goals are, if you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, because I didn't. And if you feel that way, it's okay. Because I want you to know that if you put your mind to something, you can absolutely do it. And I want you to believe me more than I believed all the people that tried to give me that message when I was your age. This class will always be special to me. As the class of 2017, you're the first group to graduate in what's now known as the RP Funding Center. And I hope that 19 years from now, one of you takes my name off this building and puts your name up there instead. So I want you to go out there and take over the world and never let anybody hold you down. Congratulations.
So
Here we go. We're back. All right.
What's interesting there, Hodge, is I talk about how when we're younger and like in high school and as a kid, a lot of people tell you can do anything you put your mind to, right? And I didn't believe them, as I explained in the video. And then somewhere I figured out I could. Well, then I will tell you is once you do start accomplishing things and you get older in life, it changes. And now people start telling you you can't do things.
Right.
And let me tell you, I don't believe them at all.
Yeah.
And so the three big things that we're going to talk about today are things that other people are going to say we can't do.
Right.
These are things LPT shouldn't be able to accomplish. LPT is not going to be able to achieve that, achieve that, achieve that. People have tried before. People have failed. I don't listen to that, right? We are here to dream big. We are here to be the mountain. We are here to be different. And the nice thing is we've already proven our ability to do that. I mean, we have accomplished so much in the first 2 years here at LPT Realty.
Yeah, we really have. And I've also seen this thought process change in our entrepreneurs where they are going out and starting to accomplish things that they were not thinking that they could do before. And so it's infectious. And so continue to bleed that, pour that into each other and to think about, what does the next step look like for you? Like, don't just be complacent where you are today. I mean, your version of success is your version of success, but you can always stretch it further. And a lot of the times it's self-limiting beliefs that keep you from doing that. And so it's funny that in video you said that your grades weren't all that great, which is interesting because we all know you as like this super genius. Like we watch you write code and do all these crazy things.
I didn't do my homework.
Yeah, you didn't do your homework.
I didn't do the work, man. Like I was too busy. I mean, I was probably writing code and learning other things, and I was I could take the tests and ace them, but I did not do the homework, and that caused your grades to go down pretty quick. I think it's almost like the teachers want to punish you. Like, look, we know you're not doing the work, man. We don't care that you can come in here and ace the test, but you're gonna suffer for not doing the work.
Not doing the work.
And that was how I lived through high school.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's get into
let's talk about some of those big things we've already accomplished, right? So this is the thing, right? When we launched LPT Realty, very much, hey, this isn't gonna work. Nobody can pull this off. You're not going to be able to launch a cloud brokerage and scale it faster than anyone ever has before or make this work with the hybrid models. Again, so many of these, like, this isn't going to work. You can't do that. And again, we don't believe that. We dream big. So what have we achieved so far? Launched LPT in 2022. We now have 38 states opening by the end of the year. We achieved 10,000 agents in just 24 months, which no one had ever achieved before. It took, I think, 8 years for the fastest growing brokerage before us to break that 10,000 agent mark. We reached $1 billion in production in just our 25th month of production. That's now up to $1.4 billion. We became a top 10 national brokerage in our 27th month of existence. And we were the 2024 Inman winner of Most Innovative Brokerage, and we have been a 2-time finalist.
Yes.
All right.
And
so again, anybody who thinks we can't do big things needs to go look at that slide because we've already done big things, and now we have 3 new big things on the horizon, but we've already done so much. We've already crushed the big thing game, as I like to think of it here at LPT.
Yeah, it's. I would want to just make sure it's clear that we haven't totaled $1 billion in sales. That was 1 month. 1 month.
Yeah, our 25th month. In that 1 month, we did $1 billion.
Yeah.
And now we're doing like 1.4 billion plus a month. Again, we just continue to grow and scale. And look, top 10 brokerage in 2 years, a little over 2 years. It's just absolutely insane. Yeah. Again, dreaming big. That's what this is all about. And now we dream big and we win together as a family here at LPT.
That's right.
Well, it's so great to be able to see that track record, right? Because the track record really does tell you what you can predict will happen. And so whether there's people that believe it or don't believe it, well, there's evidence right there that when this group of people sets out to accomplish something, they do it, and they do it at the highest possible level. We're seeing that month over month with agent count, with production, and everything we've set out to do. So knowing that, let's look at the 3 things that we are announcing for 2025, the 3 ambitious things. And number 1 is Ascend Initiative. And that is Robert and the group saying, we are going to take the mountain of becoming the #1 training organization in the real estate industry. And that's no easy feat, but as you'll hear him describe in this clip, there's a really good foundation already built. And in addition to that, there's some distinct things that give us advantage, both in our structure, in the level of talent that we have, and our technology that's going to allow us to actually deliver on this. And so let's jump right into that clip where Robert breaks that down and shows what our ambitions are and what we have at our disposal to actually execute and deliver on that vision.
3 big things. We're dreaming big. Let's go
with Ascend.
Thing number 1.
Thing number 1.
LPT Connect 1.0 was about connecting you to us. LPT Connect 2.0 is about connecting you all to each other. And this is the right time in our brokerage's history for us to be very focused on that. As we were building this, I realized it would also become the infrastructure for the most powerful knowledge sharing platform that our industry had ever seen. No longer would knowledge be locked into individual offices and brick and mortars. We would create a way for that knowledge to travel across our entire ecosystem, because as much as our hybrid share model changed this landscape of this industry forever, LPT Connect 2.0 will do it again. Initiative, the first of our three big things. LPT Realty is going to become the #1 training company in the real estate industry.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
I want you to think about that. I want you to read that again. We are dreaming big. We are the mountain, and we are going to be the #1 training company in the real estate industry.
Let's go,
And we're
LPT.
calling that the Ascend Initiative.
Amazing. Let's see. Let's see.
So how are we going to do that?
That's the question.
Right? I'm the how guy, right? We're not just going to say, hey, dream big, take my word for it. I mean, I do hope you take my word for it. I think you guys all trust us at this point, that we do what we say we're going to do. But there are really 5 paths that we have, 5 key things that we have to become the #1 training company in the real estate industry. All right, the first, Connect 2.0. Connect 2.0 is launching in October, end of September, beginning of October. We're a couple of weeks behind because of the BBA marathon, but Connect 2.0 is here. As I explained in the video, it is the foundation for revolutionizing the way real estate industry training and knowledge sharing happens. We have our amazing Desi AI technology, and we have our print shop. These are 3 pieces of technology that no other brokerage has that position us to be the #1 training company in the real estate industry. Remember, this is our 2025 3 big things. #1 for 2025 is our Ascend initiative to become the #1 training company in the real estate industry. The second thing we have is tools. All right, our training roadmap is complemented by our property tools and our done-for-you solutions, making it easier to implement concepts, right? One of the issues we see, Hodge, think about this. One of the issues we see with training at a lot of brokerages is they tell you how to do things, but then how do you actually implement that?
That's correct.
Right? Like, hey, let me show you how to build an amazing listing presentation. Well, we can train you on that and then hand you listing power tools. How do I build an amazing buyer presentation? Well, we can train you on that, and then we give you the access to a buyer power tools pack. We give you access to the digital buyer presentation. Because we have these marketing-based tools, these marketing-based proprietary tools, our training is that much more powerful because we're not just teaching you theory, we're not just telling you to do something and then you have to go figure out how to implement it. We are actually training you on concepts where you then have amazing access to those tools to go implement the concepts directly in your business. And again, this is unique to LPT. This is the second path to us becoming the #1 training company in the real estate industry.
That's right. That's so exciting.
All right, you ready for number 3?
Yeah,
all right.
let's do it.
The number 3 path. All right, local activation. This is new. This is something we're launching in 2025. Local training events across the country to engage our community. All right, we're modeling this from our new agent boot camp, which we've been testing here in Orlando, which has been massive. And the first of these local activations is going to be a buyer presentation workshop that we're going to teach all around the country and all of our LPT markets on how to get the most out of the buyer power packs, the buyer power tools, the digital buyer presentation, and how to supplement that with the right tools to go in and win.
That's right.
Local activation. All right, we are going to get into the communities across the country with our agents. That is the third leg of becoming the #1 training company in the real estate industry. All right, there's 5 of these. Number 4 for becoming the #1 training company in the real estate industry is our scale. All right, and this is, again, unique to us. There's a couple other cloud brokerages that have scale like us. They could have done this. So far, none of them have. Remember, we are a single unified national brokerage. Our talent is not locked up in franchise-owned brokerages. Our talent is not locked up in a network of brokerages owned by others. We have one core team, one core family of agents who all can work together at scale, which means we have more talent, All right, we have amazing talent across the country that can work together seamlessly. We have more knowledge. We can strategically empower subject matter experts to share their hard-earned knowledge. We have agents who are experts at everything you could imagine, and we can use our scale on top of the technology of Connect 2.0 to bring all of that knowledge together, and we have more reach. Geographically located across the country, soon to be Canada and beyond. The combination of more talent, more knowledge, more reach, and our scale as a single unified national brokerage gives us a massive advantage over the prior great training companies. If you think about it, in the past, the best training brokerages have been the franchises. They've been the locally owned guys. We are going to bring our scale to bear to solve this and create the #1 training company in the real estate industry. And then number 5, which I think is probably the most important, is our willingness to use what I call overwhelming force. All right, we will overwhelm obstacles and uncertainty, and we will apply that to training initiatives. We recently did this with our BBA National Training Marathon. 53 live national sessions in 2 weeks. We offered them 5 times a day. You had members of your leadership team, including myself and Matt, from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. hosting live Zooms for 10 days straight, including Saturday and Sunday. We put out 70 hours of live content. We had over 14,000 attendees. Plus, we had 70 state-level sessions during the 2 weeks and over 140 state-level sessions total. We saw a problem, we saw a training need, and we overwhelmed it with force. And that is a very unique LPT thing to do. So what are some examples of overwhelming force for 2025? I'm committing to 1,000 live in-person training sessions in 2025. In addition to that, we're going to have a 2-week Connect 2.0 marathon in Q1 to make sure everyone understands this new technology. So we'll be saddling up 5 times a day again, Hodge.
Yep.
And there will be more of those throughout the year. But that is our 5th pillar to becoming the #1 training company in the real estate industry, is this idea of overwhelming force, because we are willing to bring an overwhelming amount of resources and commitment and time and dedication to solve problems. So we've got a nice recap slide. If you guys want to screenshot it, get your screenshotter ready. The Ascend Initiative, LPT Realty, to be the #1 training company in the real estate industry in 2025. We have technology, we have tools, we will have local activation, we will use our scale, and we will use our commitment to bringing overwhelming force to any obstacle and training in order to become that #1 training company in the real estate industry.
I love it, man.
And that is our first big thing, Hodge.
First big thing. I love it, man. I love it. You know, when I look at how well received the BBA 2-week marathon was, where people were so nervous about, you know, the approach of that date, and then it turned into this thought process of like, oh my goodness, this is going to be such a positive for me. I can do this with my business. I can make more money. I can add more value. You know, so I look at that problem, and then I look at that solution. And so industry-wide, there is a lot of gaps in terms of understanding within the profession.
Yep.
And so I think that this is going to be a perfect way for us to tackle that and bring truthfully push the real estate industry forward, not just from the agent choice perspective and comp plans, which we of course have already started that process, but truthfully elevating the skill set of our agents. I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Awesome. Well, Isaac, I don't know about you, man. That's pretty exciting. And I think one of the things that does, and it kind of leads into what we're getting ready to talk about with the big thing #2, is, you know, again, historically, there's been this thought process in the industry where agents want to start at a brokerage that's known for training. And they're like, hey, I'm a new agent. I really want to get trained up. Maybe that's a small brick and mortar brokerage. Maybe it's one of the big brands out there that has kind of had a reputation for training. And then they stay there for a while. They realize the fees and the splits are too heavy. They don't need the training as much anymore. So they transition to maybe a cloud-based brokerage like where we're at now. But then along the line, some people will find themselves kind of wanting to then reattach themselves to a different brand and to a brokerage that maybe has a more, where the name of the actual brokerage is maybe even more substantial than your personal brand. And so what we're looking at now with the big thing #2 is how we tie all that together to truly make LPT the brokerage for life, where that same agent can come in and they can get the training that they need. They can have the best training in the real estate industry. They can then have the best splits and the best resources in the industry. And then if they choose, they can also then within the LPT ecosystem go to a different brokerage, which is still cloud-based, which has revenue share, but is a more brand-focused brokerage. So that's what we're getting ready to talk about here with the big thing #2, is a brand new brokerage under the LPT Realty umbrella known as Aperture. So we are going to jump into that right now and let Mr. Robert Palmer explain what Aperture is and what it means for LPT Realty agents.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
For big thing #2.
So you need to put your glasses
Are you
back
guys
on?
ready for big thing
All
#2?
right.
I'm ready for big thing #2.
Let's do it.
Big thing #2. Here we go. We're going to create the first ever cross-brand cloud revenue share brokerage. All right, now I'm going to tell you what that means. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
But again, this is revolutionary. So here's how we think about the landscape and why we think this is necessary. We are what I call an agent-centric brand. And personally, I am very aligned with the values of an agent-centric brand. All of you are very aligned with the values of an agent-centric brand. This is a brand where agents and teams branding is prominent. The brokerage branding can be modified to complement your brand. You can turn our logo pink, purple, you can camouflage it, and these agent-centric brands have the absolute best economics for the agent. The current largest, eXp Realty. Obviously, they were number one by transaction count, and they were number one by agent count in last year. And this is what LPT is going to become in the future. We're going to dethrone them in this number one spot. However, there are a whole lot of agents out there, for whatever reason, are not attracted to an agent-centric brand. They aren't attracted to the flexibility. They aren't attracted to the better economics. They want what I call a brokerage brand model. Okay? The brokerage brand model is where the brokerage branding is prominent and standardized. All right, the agents are not able to change the colors. They have to follow those brand standards. Brokerage brand models do not have as aggressive of economics in their comp plans. The current largest is Compass, and they are number one by market cap. That means their stock is the most valuable of any real estate company right now, and they are number one by volume. And I view this type of brokerage as currently being underserved. They don't have access to agent choice. They don't have access to revenue share and multiple streams of income. Most of them don't have access to stock, all the amazing things that we provide for our agent-centric brand here at LPT Realty. So again, as we look at this landscape, right, a brokerage brand model is number one in volume. That is Compass, okay? In addition to that, of the top 6 brokerages by volume on Real Trends last year, 5 of the 6 of them are what I call brokerage brand models. This is companies like Compass and Howard Hanna and Douglas Elliman and Sotheby's. These are brokerage brand models, and they currently make up 5 of the 6 largest brokerages in the country. So there's still a whole lot of agents who like the brokerage brand model over the agent-centric model. Now, agent-centric brand brokerage is number one in transaction count, as we mentioned. eXp did 355,000 transactions for $143 million. Compass did half as many transactions, but actually did more volume. So what does that look like? What would it look like? How would it benefit us to be able to play in both spaces? All right. And so this idea of a kairetsu, this is a Japanese term that dominated their economic models 10 years ago, still very dominant. It's a set of companies with interlocking business relationships that can create this very robust structure. And so the big idea here is, what if we as LPT Holdings, the company that you all earn stock in, the company that we are all members of the family of, owned both an agent-centric brand in LPT Realty, but also a brokerage brand model in a brand called Aperture. All right? This is something we cooked up way back when, all right? But we didn't want to release it until we knew we were ready. We didn't want to release it until LPT had achieved everything it has achieved, but now we want to open our family up to these brokerage brand agents through a brand called Aperture. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, how does this benefit all of you? How does this benefit LPT Holdings? How does this benefit LPT agents? So we're going to run through that, all right, because that's the most important thing here. We're going to take care of our family. 1, Agent Choice 2.0. This is the truest commitment to agent choice. It is a guiding principle here. We are real estate first, and we are agent choice. Right? And while most of you believe in the agent-centric brand, and I actually lean toward the agent-centric brand myself, if an agent's choice is to be at a brokerage brand model, we want to give them a way to be a part of our family and make that choice. This is the truest commitment to agent choice that we could make. It completes our brokerage for life cycle, right? There may be agents who start in a brokerage brand model and want to transition to an agent-centric model. There may be agents who do the reverse. They want to start an agent-centric model and they want to transition into a brokerage brand model. You can do that now without losing your stock, without losing your downline, without losing your family, without losing your community. You can now make that transition between brands under the LPT Holdings network, under the LPT Holdings family, without having to start over, without having to reset. So this completes our brokerage for life commitment to you all and to the industry.
That's right. so cool.
Increase stock and enterprise value. I can tell you right now that when LPT is number one by transaction count and Aperture is number one by volume, we are going to be a very, very valuable company from an enterprise and a stock perspective. It's the first ever opportunity to attract brokerage brand model agents, right? You've all done this. You've had a closing with an agent at a Sotheby's or a Compass, and you try to tell them how amazing LPT is. You try to tell them how amazing maybe another cloud brokerage you were at in the past was, but they just can't see it because they need a brokerage brand model. So this is the first ever opportunity to attract those agents into our family, into your network, all right? Also for them, it's the first time ever for those brokerage brand model agents to earn revenue share. It's their first ever opportunity to attract other agents, because an Aperture agent can attract LPT agents into their downline, an LPT agent can attract Aperture agents into their downline. The first ever cross-brand rev share opportunity, and the first ever opportunity for these brokerage brand model agents, agents who would prefer something like a Compass or a Sotheby's, to be able to earn revenue share and use their influence to attract agents not only into their own brand, but into a sister brand in the form of LPT Realty. It's the most lucrative revenue share model in existence, right? We currently have what I think is the best revenue share model because it serves the most people, it has the most long-term potential, but with the addition of Aperture now, it actually will be the most lucrative revenue share model in existence, and that's because Aperture agents will generate the highest revenue share payout in the industry, all right? The economics are not as good at Aperture, right? The economics are different. They're not as aggressive as what we have at LPT. That means there is more revenue to share on the Aperture side of the house. So if an LPT agent attracts an Aperture agent, that Aperture agent will then provide the highest revenue share payout in the industry, higher than any other company out there right now. So if you're one of these folks that wants to come and you want to attract less agents and make more money, then you're going to want to focus on attracting a lot of Aperture agents. If you want to build the biggest network possible, you're going to attract a lot of LPT business builders. If you want to have a blended, well-rounded, well-balanced organization, you're going to attract a little bit of everything. You're going to attract Aperture agents, you're going to attract business builders, you're going to attract brokerage partners. You're going to have a complete organization of people rowing with you in our network. And again, this has never existed before. There has never been an opportunity for a brokerage brand agent to attract an LPT business builder and vice versa. We are breaking down walls across this industry to build a massive network. And that's the most important part of all of this, a larger community. A larger community for collaboration, a larger community for referrals, a larger community for us to serve each other. Those agents who want the brokerage brand are no longer going to be locked out of being a part of our family here at LPT. Largest community possible, the most collaboration possible, the most referrals possible, driving big thing number one, right? The number one training company. And now we're making that available across 2 different models. We're bringing expertise from different models. We are building something here that has never been done before in our industry.
I thought you said you didn't get good grades, man.
Yeah, so now I do the work now. I just didn't do the work back then. I do the work now.
Oh man, this is so exciting on so many different levels. For one, the additional opportunity it creates for agents who don't currently have the passive residual income, the opportunity that's available through LPT, the ability to grow your career in a specific direction if that's what you choose to do, or to say, hey, I was over here and I want to go more agent centric. Just the agent choice piece and the way that this is thought out is, one, going to change the game. Two, it's going to increase the professionalism with Ascend. Like, this whole thing is starting to fit together in just ways that I don't think people really ever could see coming, and we're really still just getting started.
Just getting started, man. It's so exciting. So again, I know you all have a lot of questions. We're not answering those today.
Yeah.
Again, please do
don't
not
spam.
Please do
Back
not
to the-
submit
Yeah.
tickets to support asking about it. Please do not go start trying to recruit agents yet into Aperture. If you want to have conversations, it is coming. Again, don't start spamming the world with this. I'm trusting you guys. We're letting you in on this early. This is coming in 2025. As we get closer, we will share all of the details. Just know Aperture's economics are not as aggressive as LPT's, right? There is no $5,000 cap plan inside of Aperture. There will be production minimums to qualify for Aperture. All right, so again, a brand new agent who's never done a deal is not going to be able to go straight into Aperture. They're going to have to start at LPT, and then if they decide they want to transition, that is their choice. It is all about agent choice. It is all about making more opportunities and options available for you. And then when you do attract an Aperture agent, they are in your organization. They're in your downline. You will earn the most rev share possible, all right, on an Aperture agent. Considerably more than a brokerage partner, considerably more than a business builder. it is going to be a significantly higher amount of revenue share because of the different economics that the Aperture agents are paying. So we will now have the lowest rev share payout in business builders, but the broadest and easiest to attract, all the way up to the highest rev share payout in the entire industry with Aperture agents. It's all about choice. It's all about creating you ways to win here at LPT Realty.
Love it. Love
and
it.
LPT Holdings.
Wow, Aperture. I mean, it's a really important announcement, and I'm not sure that I completely understood the gravity of it when I first heard the idea. But now watching Robert break it down, it really does make a lot of sense that this is an incredible opportunity for people outside of LPT to be able to carry their luxury brand, have that luxury feel, the exclusivity of being part of an exclusive luxury brand, and bring that into an organization that offers more than anything else out there, including high-end marketing, but then also revenue share, right? But to your point earlier, you're also able to use another term, ascend through the LPT system and stay inside the ecosystem and potentially even become an Aperture agent and go to that upper echelon, because that is an ambition of a lot of real estate agents. And more so than Aperture being this amazing thing, it's the fact that all of this exists inside one ecosystem where you can seamlessly transfer, right, from business builder to brokerage partner, possibly even to an Aperture agent, and be able to take advantage of all of the scale, all of the efficiencies that's created across this one big holding company. And that's really unheard of. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we always have to go back to the track record of what have we been able to accomplish and why it makes sense that we'll be able to really crush in this space. And talk about another space when we're talking about what agents are looking for, right? They're looking for training. They're looking for opportunity to become part of maybe a potentially bigger, more impactful luxury brand, or they're looking for consistent, predictable, reliable opportunity flow. And oftentimes that's found with leads. And so big announcement number 3 is Leads Connect by LPT. They spent years developing this, and Robert's going to break down what the development's like, what that program is going to look like, and more importantly, how we as LPT agents can capitalize on this opportunity to get leads, high quality leads at no upfront cost. And I'm super excited for this. So let's jump right in as Robert breaks down the new Leads Connect platform inside LPT.
Now on to our third big thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, this is, man, are we changing the game
Yeah,
yet? Are you guys
I
excited?
think so.
I mean, again, big things, right? We came to be the mountain. A lot of people are going to tell you, hey, they're not going to be able to build the next Compass. Aperture is not going to be the next Compass. They told us that about LPT.
Yep.
They've been telling me that since I graduated high school and decided I was going to take over the world, which is so interesting because you go from people telling you can do things, and then it's like later in life they tell you can't do things. It's
Right.
so incredible to me. We are going to do all these things. We are going to win in 2025. We don't announce stuff unless we know we can win at that game.
That's
all right.
right.
So the third big thing. Leads Connect, powered by LPT Connect. All right, so launching our Pay at Closing Leads program out of beta and across the nation. So for the last 2 years, we have been testing our leads program. We initially launched it as homevalue.com beta leads. All right, we've been working on that for 2 years behind the scenes. We realized the homevalue.com name was a little confusing because that's not actually where all the leads come from. It's just one of the properties that we have access to. So we are going to rebrand that Leads Connect, powered by Connect 2.0. Leads Connect will be launching in 2025. So, again, what makes us think we can do these things? Well, here's my history with marketing. I've spent over $150 million on TV and radio advertising to build my RP Funding brand and to get the Home Value brand started. We've sent over 25 million pieces of mail and collateral at Listing Power Tools. We've marketed over $50 billion in listings at Listing Power Tools. We actually have 13 Telly Award-winning TV commercials, including 3 Gold Telly Awards, which is a massive deal. We have 3 Emmy-nominated TV commercials across the different brands, and billions is the volume of transactions that I've created in my career from lead generation. All right? This was always a part of our plan. We let everybody know at our official launch 2 years ago. It's been in beta. We've had to solve a lot of things. We've had to solve for one of those things being the worst housing market when it comes to number of transactions in decades. But we've gotten through it. We've built an amazing plan, and I feel confident to sit here committing to you today that this is going to be a game changer for us in 2025. So what have we been doing? We launched the Leads beta program in 2022. We've actually had a ton of closings. We've had a lot of success. We've been working hard at the same time. We've been refining the technology. We didn't have what it took from day one. We've been testing lead sources. We've been buying and generating and advertising leads all over the place to figure out what the best ways to generate leads are to make this program both sustainable and successful. We've been perfecting training around this program, and we have been planning for national scale, because if we're going to do it here at LPT Realty, it can't be locked up just in Central Florida the way the beta program has. We have to be ready to go nationwide, and we will be going nationwide in 2025 with our leads program. So, pay at closing leads program, what does this look like for you? One, it is supplemental to your existing business, right? Agents should not come to LPT thinking every one of their closings is going to come from our leads program. This is meant to be supplemental. I tell agents, hey, if you're doing 10 deals a year on your own, expect another 2 to 3 from our leads program, right? This is not there. Don't join LPT just for leads. This is not a replacement for a team. If you want the bulk of your business to come from leads provided by someone else, you should join a team. We can help connect you with an amazing team. This is meant to be supplemental so that an LPT agent doing 10 deals a year can get to 12 or 13. An agent doing 5 deals a year can get to 6 or 7. This is meant to be supplemental to your existing business. If you need a higher level of access to leads, you should join a team. And we have absolutely amazing teams here at LPT. It is performance-based, so you've got to perform. You've got to have conversion rates. You've got to make those calls. You've got to update us, right? You have to stay in the game to stay turned on. If you don't have that level of accountability, again, you can join a team, and the team leader will help you figure it out. The team leader can provide you their leads, and they can even provide you our leads. But again, there's 2 different paths here. We are not building this to be a replacement for teams in any way. There are qualifications, including volume, time with LPT, education requirements. We're going to get that all explained as we get closer. All right, nothing crazy on the volume requirement. We want a couple of transactions to prove that you understand our systems. We do want some time with LPT. We don't want people joining just for leads. This is not a reason to join LPT. This is icing on the cake. This is an extra for being a part of the LPT family, and there's going to be required education. And then finally, team leaders are able to qualify for their entire team. So if the team leader has taken the education, they have the time, they have the volume, and they have the performance, then all of their team members can unlock access to our leads at the team leader's discretion. Okay, so very important. I love it. Someone said that we misspelled education, Levy. That is so ironic and fantastic.
Yeah, that is good.
I love that in the chat. Team leaders can qualify for their. Right here on this slide we misspelled education. I was thinking back in the education section.
No,
yeah, that's
right
good.
here.
Education.
Yeah,
We need
good.
to work on our education. I love it.
You
The
said
education will be great, better than the spelling. We promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny.
So this is how we think about it, and this is what we've learned from the last 2 years of the beta program. And there's actually 4 leads types. And again, this goes back to our commitment to agent choice. All right, you can decide the level of leads you want to receive. We have 4 types of leads, starting at the top, which will have the lowest referral fee, and going down to the bottom, which will have the highest referral fee. All right, and you decide where you want to plug in. And I'm not going to go into all the details today. I promise you we will get into all of this as we get closer. But the 4 types of leads we are calling canvassing leads, follow-up connections, live transfer connections, and then live transfer appointments. All right, highest referral fee on the live transfer appointments, lowest referral fee on the canvassing leads. This is the key to building a sustainable program that works for you and works for us. Leads Connect, powered by LPT Connect. No one has ever approached it the way we are approaching it. No one has ever cracked this code the way that we are cracking the code. And I am so excited that in 2025, we'll be able to make Leads Connect an important part of who LPT Realty is, to provide that extra few closings a year to our agents. That opportunity to get that extra couple of closings, that extra 20%, that getting a little more volume to help you achieve your goals is what Leads Connect, powered by Connect 2.0, is all about.
Well, my friend, that is 3 big things.
3 big things.
That
And-
is, you
and
are
if you
right.
If you want to screenshot all 3 big things at once, here you go. Thing number 1, the Ascend Initiative, LPT Realty to be the #1 training company in the real estate industry. Big thing number 2, creating the first ever cross-brand cloud revenue share brokerage with the addition of the Aperture brand to our family. And big thing number 3, launch our pay at closing leads program out of beta across the nation, being rebranded to Leads Connect, powered by LPT Connect 2.0.
Fantastic.
3 big things
Fantastic.
for 2025.
Wow, Isaac. I mean, that's pretty incredible. You know, one of the things, and I'm sure you have this conversation a lot too with agents that you're talking to who are considering joining LPT. And one of the gripes that they may have about a previous brokerage is, well, they didn't provide me leads. And one of the things I'm always quick to explain is that generally speaking, it is not the job of a brokerage to provide you with leads. There's certain roles and responsibilities of the brokerage, and there's certain roles and responsibilities that lie on the agent or a team. And I've always looked at lead generation as really more of something that is what a team is there for. You know, the brokerage is there to provide tools and resources and leadership and a lot of other things that you can use to grow your business, but they're not necessarily there to provide leads, frankly, because there's just not enough skin in the game for either. You either want a low split or you want leads, and you kind of can't have both. So that's where the team platform has always served well. And what I like about what Robert said here is like, look, this is not the reason to come to LPT Realty. Don't come here because you're just going to make all your money off of LPT Realty leads. But what I see this as an opportunity for is either one, a team that already has multiple lead sources, and what they're looking to do is find even more ways to bring more high quality leads to the agents that are on their team, or for the solo agent who maybe this is something they don't need all the time, but when times in their business slow down, this can be a great way to pick up those few extra deals through some of the slower times where maybe one of their lead generation sources either gets cut off or kind of dries up a little bit, or they're just looking to add those extra 2, 3, 4 deals a year to what they're doing. I look at this as the perfect kind of hybrid way to do that for a solo agent who wants some leads, but really doesn't want to commit to being on a full-time team, maybe because they don't need it. So I think that that's, really awesome. All 3 things I just think are incredible and really tie into that whole Brokerage for Life platform. Because like you were talking about before too, where you don't have to leave one brokerage to go get all these new things. You know, if you think about it, like we were talking earlier, if someone starts at one brokerage where they just want to get training, well, any kind of profit share or revenue share that they've generated, when they go to the next brokerage, guess what? It gets left behind. And they go to the next brokerage, and they're earning stock. Maybe they've got some rev share, and then they have to leave that to go to the next brand. And so I think the cool thing here is it really does provide the pathway, a very clear pathway for a brand newly licensed agent to come in, get training, get leads, find ways to grow their business, learn the tools, learn the resources, utilize those things, and then maybe down the road it makes sense to again take on a bigger jump going up to Aperture. So I think it's amazing, and I think what we're going to find is that the days of feeling like you have to jump ship just to get the support that you need at that point in your career is going to be gone. And so I think this is going to create an awesome opportunity for agents to, over the long term, really build that stock, build the rev share if that's what they want to do, and build those relationships and kind of have that consistent branding throughout the course of their career. So I think it's super exciting, man. These were 3 huge announcements that I don't think many people saw coming being announced on the same day. But Isaac, what are your thoughts?
You know, it really is interesting to announce all 3, but if you really think about it, you have to kind of announce those 3 together because of what you actually, if you really read between the lines, anybody can kind of offer anything at a brokerage level. I can offer leads, I can offer some other kind of branding or some upscale, but what it really takes is the ability to also train people and give them the right tools to be able to execute on the assets that you're giving them, right? So whatever resources, if I'm giving you leads, it really doesn't matter if I give you leads if I also don't give you the training and the tools to be able to convert those leads and then continue to nurture that database, right? And so you kind of, it would be irresponsible to launch Leads Connect without the Ascend initiative, right? And vice versa. And so that's a really powerful thing. And you really got to think about it this way too. We're not even a 3-year-old company yet. And so if there's one thing that's very obvious to me is that LPT leadership, Robert Palmer, has made a really good effort and has been amazing at shining spotlights on the dark area of the brokerage. Not just LPT as a brokerage, I'm talking about the brokerage landscape and saying these are the things that are going unmet. These are the needs that are going unmet. These are the reasons that people feel like they have to jump ship and move brokerages. And so look at all the things we've done. The business builder, the brokerage partner, now Aperture, Ascend, Leads Connect, and we're just getting started. So think about the other problems that they're going to shine light on and that they're going to solve in the future. So right now, I'm very convinced that this is my brokerage for life. But what gets me even more excited is Guys, we're not even 3 years into this and they're already solving big problems. What is it going to look like 2, 3, 4 years from now in terms of where brokerages tend to show up short for agents and where LPT is going to plug in those gaps? And one of the biggest ones is something that you just mentioned, which is, hey, teams. People are bringing up new teams altogether. And so when you have an opportunity to leverage inbound leads that you pay on the back end for your entire team, that enhances your value proposition, right? And so now it's not just giving individual agents, it's also giving teams a competitive advantage in the marketplace and giving them something that is usually reserved for really big, long established teams that have relationships with all the lead providers for a decade. And man, good luck getting in on that stuff. And so LPT has really created that. And I can't wait for the next thing they solve for in the real estate industry. So I'm just so impressed, so excited about all three of these initiatives. And again, just that proven track record of being able to do it, watching them do this. And I can't wait for what other problems we're going to tackle in the future together.
So those are the big three initiatives that LPT Realty is pushing going into the year 2025. And I hope you can see why I was so excited from the beginning, is these are some pretty big goals that I really do think are going to change the industry for the better. It's going to give agents more choices, more options, and more ways to grow and scale their business faster and larger. And I know between the track record of our leadership team and the amazing agents that we have here, we're capable of doing some amazing things in a short period of time. So I'm excited to see just how far we can take these big three initiatives over the next 12 months. Guys, if you're interested in partnering with us here at LPT Realty, go ahead and click down the description below, and there's a link where you can schedule a private one-on-one Zoom call with me. I would love to connect with you, learn more about you, your business, your goals, what you're trying to do, see if LPT Realty might be the right fit, and if I might be the right sponsor for you. Guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be well.